All right, welcome back to the Winning at Weight Loss podcast with your host, Mitch, Calvert Fitness Coaching. Very creative with my business name. I should have been a little bit more creative, but at least people know what I do. Last name, fitness. There we are. And I'm excited to be joined by a longtime member of CalFit and a former neighbor of mine who has really crushed it in the program and has a unique story to share. So welcome, Jen.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning, Mitch.
Could you take us back to before you joined? Like, what were you struggling with? Stage of life, weight gain, or whatever? Like, what was kind of holding you back initially?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that was holding me back was not really controlling my eating all that great. I was exercising regularly. I was getting my steps in. I was drinking water. But holy man, trying to control my food intake was just really struggle. I knew what I needed to do, but I wasn't doing it. And so I needed that extra piece of accountability.
Gotcha. Was there enough is enough point? Like some people have dramatic situations, some people it's more subtle, or they just see themselves in a picture and like, oh, that doesn't look like myself. Was there anything like that that kind of pushed you over the edge, so to speak?
I don't know that there was any one thing that really pushed me over the edge. I think it was just a combination of it was just really feeling frustrated with where things were going. I was certainly gaining weight despite doing almost all of the right things. And I just knew that I needed to make a change because if I hadn't made a change, I would be, continuing to go in the wrong direction in terms of weight, in terms of health, and I just didn't want to do that anymore.
100% makes sense. So had you tried other things that weren't working prior or sort of just kind of going flying solo for a while and struggling? Is there anything specific?
Yeah, so weight loss and general health, over speaking, has kind of been a lifelong challenge for me. At my heaviest, I was well over 200 pounds. I think I was close to 230 pounds and had tried another program way back in the day. Successful, yes, but didn't stick with it. So started to balloon up again. Then did it on my own and lost some significant weight. And again, that was fine and dandy, but didn't stick with it. So I knew that I needed something simple. I needed something that I could follow, and I needed something to hold me, or someone, I guess, to hold me accountable. I wasn't doing it on my own anymore.
Got it. Yeah, so that kind of leads into my next question. Like, what was the first small win that made you think, oh, this might be different. Maybe I can sustain my results from this, you know, as opposed to previous attempts?
Yeah, to be really honest, Mitch, it was paying. It was the financial incentive that I'm
Mhm.
paying for this. I really need to follow up. There were so many nights in that first month or two that I was like, man, I want to eat all of the food because that's just comforting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm paying money for this. I'm not going to blow my money and then not succeed. So that was the big thing for me.
Yeah, and we're human. A lot of us need skin in the game to commit. And obviously, there's another human you're paying for that's showing up to keep you honest. So there's a part of some people it doesn't apply, but for the most majority of us, that is the kind of the link between action or good intentions and action. So I totally feel you there. What's the routine like now? Like, what's different from before, and what's kind of made it fairly sustainable? You've obviously been really consistent for a long time.
Yeah, so I've been with the program for like a year and a half now. Holy man, that's amazing, I guess. Anyways, I think the thing it just comes more naturally now. It took a lot of, self-talk, a lot of support from my husband, who's been incredible along the journey with me, and a lot of support from yourself too, Mitch. The weekly check-ins have been really helpful for me. They bring me back on track and knowing that the biggest thing for me has been my mind shift change. So for me, it's not an all or nothing approach to eating healthy and exercising. It's, doing what I can when I can in those moments. And, when I have a setback where I've eaten too much in a day or something like that, it's knowing that tomorrow is a new day and I'm gonna get back on track.
Huge, huge takeaway. Yeah, the all or nothing thinking kills most good intentions. So the fun part for me is like you sharing your results. So obviously you weren't starting at 230 pounds, you were well under, but if you don't mind going into the specifics of how much weight loss, I mean, percentage wise, it's really significant, but beyond the scale, obviously, other things that you've noticed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started with the program, I was 165 pounds. And then over the course of, I'm going to say 8 or 9 months, I lost over 30 pounds. And I've kind of been maintaining since then. So the biggest shift for me, I think, was the biggest takeaway for me is I have way more energy. I am, I think I'm more focused in my work as well. Like, so that's certainly a huge byproduct of, being consistent with my nutrition, being consistent with, my exercise and my steps and my water intake. My sleep is always a challenge, and I think that's always going to be a challenge, but I'm kind of working on that as best that I can. Um, I think some of the bigger takeaways too, not only with the byproduct of work, I can go for, like, say, for example, a round of golf and then still go and, have a good solid workout. So my energy and my fitness levels have definitely improved. Uh, Curling, I know you know that curling is a big thing for me. I can go do a bonspiel, not feel sore, tired, lethargic afterwards. I mean, that in itself is a really huge win for me as well. So there's so many more, I guess, unintended consequences of actually, continuing with the program other than just kind of maintaining my weight and not gaining the weight. Building muscle too. Like, I used to be somebody who would look in the mirror and say, "Oh, this body is gross and disgusting." I think so many people can relate. And my mind shift is now, "Hey, you're not so bad anymore. You're."
Yeah.
That's a
Progress.
huge
Yeah.
that's a huge mental shift for me. So that's another big win.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, it's like 40 pounds almost on the scale, I think. 168 is the first win we have officially in the app. So that's awesome. But you can see in the photos the recomposition, the muscle, the abdomen is coming in. And obviously that's, translating to bond peels and the day-to-day energy strength. And that's really critical to the process as well. It's just there's not just chasing a number on the scale. So what would you say to someone that's on the fence, maybe your former self, scared to invest, or thinks maybe their best days are behind them? Like, what would your advice be to that person?
Well, you know what? Your best days are not behind you at all. They are absolutely 100% ahead of you. Take the leap, give it a whirl, and you will see a difference. I mean, if I were to look back on myself, on who I was even 20 years ago, I'm going to be 50 in a couple of weeks. I'm in way better shape, way more energy, and way more stamina than I was in my 20s or 30s. Like, it's been a remarkable difference. It's been awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, we always think, well, a lot of people use the excuse that, oh, I'm in my 40s, everything hurts, blah, blah, blah. But lifestyle does, plays a bigger role than we give it credit for. And if we get back to doing the right things, we can truly slow down the aging process and not only just that, but feel better day to day, which is really the big win. And you're seeing the fruits of your labor now, which is what it's all about for me as a coach, seeing those breakthroughs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing that I'd like to add. When I was working out prior to joining Calvert Fitness, I was working out for like an hour a day. And I've cut back on workouts. I'm working out like between 30 and 45 minutes a day at the max in terms of my strength training, in terms of any cardio activity that I'm doing. And I'm still seeing the results. Really, my results are from the workouts, yes, but it really is my relationship with food has changed. And that's been the big difference.
Yes, and that's a good takeaway. Stimulate, don't annihilate is my process, my approach to the gym, and people can really overdo it. And as you get older, you have less capacity to recover from these workouts. So pushing the boot camps and high intensity stuff day after day really gets people into trouble. They feel like they're working hard, but not always getting rewarded for it. So yeah, that is another takeaway that we love hearing is that less is more. getting more.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I work up a sweat when I'm doing
Yep.
my workouts. And I think part of that is because I know the workout's only 30 minutes or so. So
Yep.
I feel like I can push harder.
100%. Yeah, you're not like, yeah, there's something human nature to that. When you know you've got a time cap and it's like the effort is what matters most, like getting those reps near failure at the end of a set, far more critical than like how long you spend doing it, how many reps you do over the course of a full workout. And that's that shift that really helps make that happen. So I appreciate Jen. You really ring an endorsement throughout, unintentional, but I'm really appreciating you sharing your story. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries. Enjoy the rest of your day.